Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima, and I'm here checking out Space Hulk. This is about an hour or so in, because I honestly can't stand to play this anymore. There's a good reason for that, but we'll get into that. So, first thing I want to point out is that this UI is tiny and terrible. It might not look that bad if you're watching it on a screen bigger than a Vita, but if you're watching this video on a Vita, which I really recommend you do, you'll see that the menu is really small. Might not be that big of a problem if you could navigate it via buttons. Guess what? You can't. You can't. For some reason, there is no button navigation in here. There is some button navigation in-game, but good lord, is it a pain in the ass to get around the menus in this game, because you have to do it entirely via touch on a menu that's far too small to be 100% reliable on the touches. But anyway, let's go have a look around. Audio, you're probably going to want to turn this down. There's a fairly good reason for that, but we'll get onto that. You can change the language, and you've got your gameplay. Now, you can change your Gene Stealer skin, which is your enemy skin, but it appears that I don't have any unlocked right now. And you can also choose the action camera. We're going to leave it on default, because it's actually fairly decently spaced out in default. It makes sense on default, but good lord. Space Marine timer. Limits how long you can take your turns for. That's automatically turned on if you're on in the hard mode, so we're going to ignore that. You've also got end turn confirmation, but I'm gonna actually turn that off. It's not that useful. Objective list and shoulder camera, you might as well leave those on all the time, because they don't really make a difference to the frame rate one way or another. So we'll head back, and we'll go have a look at the librarian just real quick. There's not that much here to see. You can change your banner, but I don't really see what the point of this would be, for a reason that I'll explain in a moment. But you can change what the logo on the front is, you can change what the pole looks like, and if you look down at the ones that are still locked, you can see the background, the top images, the lower left and the lower right. You get the idea. Sometimes saving in this game takes a really long time. You can also come down here to view the manual, but most of these are shown to you throughout the game as you come across them, so it's not that big of a deal. If you miss it, you can just come back here. Although, try being precise on this fucking menu. Just, you can't do it. Trust me. All these buttons are just way too small to tap. But I will explain how the game works as we get in there. You've also got information on the weapons and all the units here. Not actually that many units to learn, so you won't have that much trouble figuring it all out as you go along. Now, the one thing that upsets me the most about this is that this is an adaptation of a board game. A board game which usually requires you to be playing with two people, and there's no online multiplayer to speak of. Absolutely none. You have hot seat multiplayer, which is a substitute. It's not a fantastic substitute, but it's a substitute. But I don't have any friends, so good luck getting me to play Space Hulk with anyone that I bloody know, because I don't know anyone that would play Space Hulk with me. And I actually like board games. I really do. This is an adaptation of a board game that I've never played, but I know for the fact that it's a board game adaptation, and I don't have anyone to play it with. Yeah. So we're just going to have to move on to the campaign. Now, you can save your game, but I haven't actually done that, so we're just going to go select a mission. Now, these are all the DLC campaigns down the bottom here. I don't know if these are unlocked via DLC or via just beating the previous campaigns. The email didn't say anything, the press email I got, because this is a press copy, otherwise I wouldn't have it before launch. The email I got didn't say anything about these three bottom campaigns here being DLC campaigns. I really hope they're not, because this game won't have that much content in it if it's only just the Sin of Damnation campaign, because boarding the Sin of Damnation and Messenger of Purgatory only have like 3 missions apiece, so they don't take very long to get through. I've been through the entirety of boarding of Sin of Damnation and one mission in the Sin of Damnation campaign, and no matter how much more of the game I actually play, this is not going to turn out any better, because I'm not very good at my strategy, and this game is an ass-fuckingly hard game. So, we're just going to get right into it. So, you've got difficulty levels, and these difficulty levels are a pain in the ass. So, hard makes it so that you've only got the 4 command points on every soldier, and you have a timer to make sure that you move quicker throughout the game. Meanwhile, normal doesn't have that, and easy, it makes close combat easier, and your weapons don't jam, but you can't unlock trophies. That's infuriating. That's absolutely infuriating. Makes me not want to play on easy, because then I just have to go through again to get all the trophies on normal. So we're going to play on normal, as that's what I've mainly been playing on. And we're going to jump right into Exterminate. Now, I'm going to turn up the audio here, because you're going to want to listen to this, because the audio compression in this game is horrific. I haven't heard anything this bad since trying to make a phone call in the 90s. Have a listen to this.
We have tasted victory, but this is only the beginning. The enemy will come. A counterattack is inevitable. We must stand against the tide and turn it back. At the cost of blood, at the cost of our lives, this must be done. The main hibernating cluster will soon be within our reach. Sergeant of the squad, accept your orders.
So yeah, it'll tell you everything you need to know in terms of the briefing. But did you hear the crackling at the Did you hear the crackling at the beginning of that briefing? That crackling was ridiculous. Holy shit! I didn't realize that could get through QA. That is horrific voice acting quality. Well, I mean, the voice acting itself isn't actually that bad, honestly. It's pretty atmospheric, but at the same time, that fucking crackling! Holy crap! Alright, never mind. So this shows you the map of the mission you're about to go on, and there's not really that much else to see here, so we're probably just going to go forward into the game, to be honest with you. The loading times, however, are about as horrific as the sound. Easily 30 seconds, probably closer to 1 minute. I didn't bother counting, but if you make me have to put my Vita down to do something else while I'm waiting for your game to fucking load, yeah, that's probably a bad sign. Also, there's more audio crackling here, and it'll carry through the load screen into the mission, and it'll stay there. I've only had this happen like 3 times, but I've played the missions like anywhere up to 10 or 12 times, so something like a 20 to 25% occurrence rate is ridiculous. How did this get through QA? This is, I don't even know. It's just horrifically bad sound quality. I don't even know how this got through. I'm going to keep saying that because it's amazing. Sound crackling that bad. I mean, I only just played Resident Evil Revelations 2, and the voice compression in that was horrific and really shouldn't have gone through in the game like that, even if I meant making the game like 500 meg bigger. But this sort of audio issue, this never should have made it through QA. It should have been sent right back, and they should have said, no, fix your shit! I don't even know what the PS3 version's like, because they didn't give me the PS3 version. If they gave me that, I would have bloody downloaded it. But no, it looks like we are going to be moving along. So, oh great, this actually relates to fucking dice rolls. I've got problems with that, but we'll get on to that later on. Okay, so we have to deploy in any one of these particular areas. And we need to block every entry area by standing within 6 tiles of it. That's an oddly specific request. Or we need to kill 36 gene stealers. Fuck me. Alright, so we're going to have to find a place to put our guys down. Now, oh, I can't actually do it at this moment. So we need to put our guys down. So let's see. Can I choose it? Yes. Alright. So I got... Is that a flame? I can't even bloody tell. Look at... The size of this UI is just ridiculously small, and I'm really upset by it. It makes it really hard to see. Like, I have to wear glasses, and... Yeah. So, half my guys do get separated, so I'm just going to put someone down there. Yeah, whatever. Just put them all down there. If I die too quickly, I'll go do the other mission that I just did. Alright, so, first thing I really need to point out about this, which really isn't working right now. What the fuck? Alright, fine, I'll point out this first. Framerate is horrific! Goes up and down all over the freaking place. It just drops and rises and drops and rises, and is just absolutely obscenely bad at times. Like, holy hell. It's... makes me want to shoot someone, honestly. It's just horrific. Also of note, game stutters and stops like a bastard. Just... the performance in this game is so bad that I just immediately say you shouldn't buy this game. I cannot believe that this port is so poor. This is one of the worst ports I've ever seen for this system. I am so utterly disappointed at the quality of this port. I can't even see where they're going to come in. From here. I hit circle fast enough and it'll undo the move. So I need to look around for the insertion points. Or I can press select and find it from here. Block all entry areas by standing within 6 tiles from them. So I assume that means the... yeah. Alright, so yeah, frame rate is terrible. I'm gonna have to get my guys back together one way or another, so I might as well start moving them towards each other. Where are the other entry areas? They're up there. Now, under normal circumstances, I'd be able to zoom out and get a better view on the whole map. But for some reason, it's not working. I can't explain why. Also of note, zooming in and out in this game is done via the rear touchpad, and you can't turn that off or change it. Again, horrific. It's like they didn't play the PlayStation Vita for more than 10 minutes. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. So your camera just ends up zooming in and out and stuttering and all that, and it's horrific, and you can't figure out just why the hell it's doing it. Anyway. That guy, right. I'm gonna have to move him up here. I guess? I can't really see the map that well. You can rotate the map using the up and down directional arrows, which is really strange. And again, I was able to zoom it out, but for some reason, I just can't. So, fucking hell. Alright. And we'll move him over here. I'm going to have to start explaining what this game actually is at some point, aren't I? But you can watch and see what I'm doing as I do it. So, I am going to explain it now, actually. So, the game is an adaptation of a board game. And the idea is we are the Terminators. A series of Warhammer 40,000, I don't know what the name is for them. Death Knights or something? Something like that? I'm sorry for... yeah, look. Zooming in and out, but... yeah, I had it working there for a second, but now it's not. Oh, hang on. There it was. They really don't make this obvious, I'm sorry. This isn't in the manual, like... you saw everything that was in the manual, and there's no digital manual, so yeah. And the problem is you can't actually access the manual while you're in the game, so if you have a little bit of confusion about the, oh, well, you can go to the options menu and change all the options, but you can't go to the menu, so if one of the mechanics is confusing you and you want to refresh it, well, too fucking bad. Great. Right, I better set up a defense. So as I was saying... the game is a turn-based adaptation of a board game of the Warhammer 40,000 universe. And the idea is, we are the Terminators, and we have to fight off the Gene Stealers. Now, the Gene Stealers are really, really fucking annoying. Because if they get really close to you, they have a 90-something% chance of killing you, just because of the way the luck works in this game. It's infuriating how difficult it can be to fend off the Gene Stealers. The idea is that there's a bunch of dice rolls that happen whenever you get too close to one of them, and it, of course, is really easy to fail the dice rolls. And since it's really easy to fail the dice rolls, it's really easy to just lose your guys immediately. They have no health, they just die. So, am I going to be sending this guy over to the right, or over to the... he's probably going to be needed over on the front line, so I'll just send him up here. I don't want to go using my CP, those might come in use. So, at the beginning of every turn, every Space Marine that you got... I know I'm going to piss someone off by saying Space Marine. I'm sorry, I literally have no idea what I'm doing here. The Space Marines in this game have... what's it called? They all get 4 points at the beginning of every turn. 4 command points. And you also get a random assignment of extra command points that you can use on any of the units that you like. So if you want to have someone use like 10 command points to move like 8 spaces and then use an ability, you can do that, because moving and using abilities and rotating on the spot, which is actually a really weird thing to use command points on, all cost command points to use. Or action points or whatever. Yeah, I think the ones they assign to every Space Knight at the beginning of each turn is an action point, and then you've got the command points that are the bonuses. Nevertheless, though, so at the God, I'm sorry, my brain is full of fuck right now, because I hate playing this, because if I look at it for too long, I start getting a headache because of all the stuttering that's going on. It's ridiculous, even for Vita standards. It's ridiculous. But nevertheless, everyone has an ability they can use that costs action points or command points. And there are different abilities for different troopers. Like, for example, you've got the Flamer unit, who can completely block a direction with their flamethrower. And you've also got the assault cannon, who can fire a lot, but can have malfunctions and all that. And yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of dice rolling going on in the background, and there are abilities that are very useful and should be used all the time, like Overwatch, which, if you see any movement whatsoever, you will immediately lock onto it and shoot it. But yeah, as you can see, the Gene Stealers spawn in at the red circular half circles and start moving towards your guys, and they are eventually going to get really close, and when they do, we'll be shooting the hell out of them, and they'll probably be ending up as killing us all, because this game is very hard. But yeah, there are all sorts of abilities and stuff that you can use. And we're going to probably need to... See, I guess... Yeah, it says entry areas, but I think they referred to these as entry areas, but they might also refer to the areas where your guys can spawn as entry areas. This might be me confusing my terminologies here, but good lord, this is annoying. So yeah, it has a very XCOM-y vibe to it, I must say. I mean, I've only played a little bit of XCOM, but this is very reminiscent of it, at least in my case. So, I'm reminded very heavily of XCOM in this. Also, my bloody analog stick keeps moving. It's very, very precise, I see. Yeah, anyway, we'll put that guy on Overwatch in that doorway, because there's not really much else we can do with him. Although, to be fair, it'd probably be better to back them both up to those individual corners, and then get them to both be Overwatch on the same door. Shit. Oh, no. Wrong guy got moved altogether. Let's just... Okay, so I can undo most of his moves. A lot of the actions in this game are like, did the game actually go through with what I wanted it to do? Or is it just being like really stupid and laggy? Because sometimes it's just really hard to tell if it's actually going to go through with what you asked it to do. Also of note, if you hold down the X button, he should have been able to turn there, but he wasn't able to. Alright, so hold on. I'll put him there. How about that? I admit I like the little helmet camera up in the top right, but the game's just like stupidly laggy with it. And you saw an example of the action camera. The lag that you saw when that action camera started earlier on, that happens every time they go into action camera. No, like, strings attached. It'll happen every time. Alright, I'm just going to leave those two there on Overwatch, because it's going to be kind of hard to do this otherwise. Brother Noctis, what can you do? I'm probably going to need to send one of those two over that way, so I'm probably going to get him to start moving this way. Because I don't think anything else can come in that door, but the game might surprise me. I don't think the missions can change once you're already in them, because it is a board game after all, and board games are actually, you know, not complete dicks like that, but I'm not going to open my mouth too easily, because I have been wrong on these sorts of things. And there is a sort of... I'm not going to say perverse pleasure, but there's a real, like, fuck yeah series of moments where it's like, you know, you go up against a really hard mission, you manage to pull it off by the skin of your teeth by running a bunch of Space Marines through, and it can get really, really enjoyable. But to get through that, you have to not only suffer through this unbelievably poorly performing port of the game, but you also have to suffer through the game's dice rolls. And the game's dice rolling is ridiculous. For more than one reason. As soon as one of these Gene Stealers gets in range of one of my guys, so I can actually, like, actively point at them and say, I want to attack this guy, you'll be able to see why. But the basic problem with it is that the dice rolls that you get, in comparison to the dice rolls the enemies get, are insanely unfair. Like, unbelievably. I understand the idea of game balance, but holy shit, do you feel like you're getting fucked over in this game. Like, just as an example, your regular units get 1 die to roll on their melee skills, right? When they're about to get attacked. Not too bad. Not the best situation you could have, but at the same time, it's not that terrible. Oh boy, wait until you hear how much the enemies get. They get 3 die, and they get to pick between the 3 of them. Like, I'm pretty sure there is some sort of mechanic, like, they have to get... What was it? They have to pick, like, the lowest rolling die out of the 3. But they still get 3 fucking chances. Like, the mission I was playing last time, my Flamer was almost to the goal, but he ended up, what's the word I'm looking for? He ended up getting attacked by someone in melee. And and the enemy rolled a 6, a 5, and a 5. And I rolled a 2. And I lost immediately. It was infuriating. And that happens a lot, purely due to the way this game handles dice rolls. And there's a dice roll for pretty much everything you do. For your attacks, which, despite the fact that there's an enemy, like, directly in front of you, and the enemy right there was in the fucking, like... The enemy right there was in the hallway and clearly getting hit by the shots. My chance of hitting that shot was like 1 in 2. Not 1 in 2, like 1 in 4 probably. Like 30-something%. Because the dice rolls in this game are just fucking cruel. There are other mechanics that are involved in the movement. Like, there are air ducts that only the... What the hell? There are... I don't know what the fuck happened there. They should have been attacking. I must have forgot to set them on Overwatch. Yeah, there are other movement mechanics. Like, they can go... Like, these guys, the Gene Stealers, they get air vents they can move into that you can't. But you've also got doors that you can close. But these are only on some maps. So, yeah. We'll put this guy on Overwatch again.
Let them come.
But yeah, some of the other dice rolls you can get in this game are ridiculous. Like, for some bloody reason, you end up having, like... Yeah, as I was saying before with just the regular unit that ended up, like, needing a fucking, that ended up needing 5 and 5, and ended up getting a 2. Yeah, you've also got a melee weapon here, but do not use the melee weapon if you can afford to not use it, because I have never had the melee weapons work. And see, look, he's backed up in a corner. I had a 70% chance to hit, and it just didn't hit. Like, it's that same problem they had with XCOM, where you would just miss a 95% accuracy shot. Like, you do get a bonus if you miss the first shot, but it's still infuriating. Just how easy it is to fucking miss shots. Also, apparently I need to reload now, and that's going to take a ton of my AP. I'm going to send back on Overwatch so that other one can't get inside here.
Stay alert.
But yeah, look, see, I'm actually zooming in and out because the rear touchpad is somehow being affected. I don't know what the hell I'm doing to set it off. Oh, you have to do it with 2 fingers. Right, okay, so 2 fingers. If you're just resting your finger on the back of the rear touchpad, that will probably just be set off constantly. But anyway, I'm going to zoom in and out because the rear touchpad is somehow being affected. I don't know what the hell I'm doing to set it off. Oh, you have to do it with 2 fingers. If you're just resting your finger on the back of the rear touchpad, that will probably just be set off constantly. But anyway, My main problem with the dice rolls, though, I mean, I wouldn't have that big of a problem with the dice rolls if, and this is a big if, I was actually capable of seeing my dice rolls go down in the game. But you can't. And that's the most infuriating part about a board game adaptation, where you literally can't see your fucking dice rolls go down because the game will not show them to you. That is just mind-bogglingly stupid to me, and I do not understand why it happens. Who thought it would be a smart idea to not show dice rolls in a board game adaptation? That's retarded. It's like an RPG where you can't see your attack or your defense stat. You just have to randomly swap out armors to get the best armor going on. It's just dumb. It's really dumb. I don't understand why there's no dice rolling somewhere. You can see it after the mission is over. But what's the fucking point of showing me there? Oh, your guy almost lived at this point in the mission. But yeah, as you can see, dead. So yeah, they are very, very quick to take out your Marines. And the worst part is, the Gene Stealers get 1 action point per, well, everything. While it costs you, like, multiple action points to do specific things, Gene Stealers move 1 action point per square and only cost 1 action point to attack. So, not only will you be swarming with the motherfuckers, but they can take out a room of 3 of your guys and not even flinch. And it's just, I've said it before and I'll say it again, fucking infuriating. It's madness. Absolute madness. I'm not having any fun anymore. It's just, I mean, if I put it on easy, like, the dice rolling wouldn't come into it that much, but just still, I mean, holy crap.
The Emperor is
alongside the really bad voice issues and the audio issues and the frame rate problems and the stuttering and the UI being unbelievably tiny for no godforsaken reason, it's
going into
that where the hell did that thing go? Oh, it's still there, right? So I'm probably going to be forced back into this room here. Not much I can do about that. Actually, on second thought, I should do that. I should just, like, bum rush them all into the same room, because I'm not going to survive very long out here, no matter how I swing this. Alright, yeah, you go down here. I do have the animations on very fast, so everybody moving really fast. It looks kind of ridiculous. I'll show you it. I'll show you 1 or 2 examples of the game's normal animation speed. But you'll see why I decided to increase the speed. I mean, sure, it's realistic in the sense that in this really dark, grim future that there is only war in, it's easy to understand why the slow animation speeds are like this, but, you know, after 2 hours, you've seen this enough in order to be like, okay, I'm just going to put it back on very fast. And there's a damn good reason for that. We'll just end our turn here. And chances are this isn't going to last very long at all, so when I do get around to dying, I'll just do the quick summary and all that. I'm just sitting here recording this on my computer at the moment, and I've got the Steam box up in the corner downloading Metal Gear Solid 5. That's basically all I've been waiting for. I'm kind of thankful that this game is here giving me a... No, I don't want him to go there. The game has this weird way of saying that you can hold down X to choose what direction you're going in. It says... God, I can't remember what it says, but there's a really weird word for it, and once I'm back in the main menu, I'll have to go and look that up, but the game's manuals are just written slightly weirdly. Alright, so... We'll put him there in that doorway.
Affirmative.
And I will admit that for the frame rate and presentation, like UI issues, the game actually looks really good. Like, there's a lot of effects going on, and there's blood everywhere, and the hallways are actually surprisingly detailed for a Vita game at the very least. If you get up real close, it actually looks pretty impressive, all things considered. But again, it runs like absolute arse, so it kind of loses a lot of the goodwill. I mean, I know it's a turn-based strategy game, but when you've got lag, like UI lag, affecting your experience in the game, it's kind of horrendously bad. Like, good lord, guys. I'll put the animation speed back up now. I'm sorry for making you watch that for a couple of turns. And now this guy. We'll just face him back this way and turn on Overwatch, because there's not really that much else we can do. We're going to get eliminated one way or another in the next couple of turns, so might as well just stand here and let it come. The game is surmountable. I'm not going to pretend that it isn't. It is very surmountable if you use the right amount of strategy, but with the amount of luck that there is just in the game's mechanics due to the amount of dice rolling that you have to do, it's not something I can easily recommend to anyone but the most hardcore of hardcores. I mean, I know I might be saying the same thing about XCOM, but at least XCOM was... At least I hope bloody XCOM is going to be decently performing. God bloody hell, that shield gives me like one extra melee die to roll, and that guy just fell over in one fucking shot. XCOM is just a little more balanced with his gameplay, leaving it up more to skill and less to chance in comparison to this. And it's also of note that hopefully when XCOM does show up on the Vita, it's not going to run like a turd bucket. I'm just... Forever and ever... Did I just accidentally hit the undo button, didn't I? See, look at the rate at which the UI just moves and loads stuff. It's just... horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. Just please, 2K, if you're listening. And look! I didn't even get the same result! I didn't even get the same result on the turn I accidentally undid. Wow. Whatever. Look, there is a lot of potential here. And even if I wasn't one to recommend it to anyone except hardcore tactics fans who could deal with the randomness of it all, at least I might be able to say I would have been able to say it was a decent port if it was a decent port. But this port just overall is absolutely horrendous, and I do not like it. And maybe if the port was better, I'd have an easier time recommending it to people, but at this point I can't. I just can't. It's a bad port, and the game itself isn't particularly well...
I have movement, brothers.
The word I'm looking for is not intelligent, but... Let me put it this way. The game's board game sensibilities really doom it to be something that... Like, if this was an actual video game and not a direct adaptation of the board game, maybe it would be doing a whole lot better for itself in the gameplay department than this currently. And you know what the weird thing is? This is an adaptation of, I think, a 2013 game. Don't quote me on that. But there was a game called Space Hulk, right? This is Space Hulk. There is also a game called Space Hulk Ascension, which is basically the same concept, but turned into more of an actual computer game than a computer adaptation of a board game. And it actually got higher reviews than this, like, across the board. So seeing that this is the version that got ported to Vita, and not Space Hulk Ascension, which was the higher rated, better received, and overall more computer gaming, and therefore probably be better received on the Vita version than this version. I don't understand. I really don't understand why that version wasn't the one that didn't get ported. We got this one instead.
My bulger has failed.
Of course it has. That frame rate drop, that is horrendous. If that happened in a PC game, people would be worried about their bloody graphics cards giving out. That is something else, I tell ya. Kind of amazed I lasted this long, though. I didn't think I'd be able to kill half the Gene Stealers I needed to. But anyway, we'll just set these guys back on Overwatch. There's literally nothing else I can do. If I push them out now, they're going to get killed. They're covering each other in this hallway, and they'll be able to help each other if they need to. So, like, there's literally no point in me doing anything else outside of just holding my ground and using Overwatch constantly. I know eventually a dice roll is going to fail me, and it's going to be like, yeah, there we go. Knew that was going to happen.
They are close.
Yeah, and it does appear that there can be infinite Gene Stealers. Although there are mission objectives that are like, you know, kill X amount of Gene Stealers, and as soon as you kill that last one, no matter how many are left on the map, it will automatically, like, finish the mission, and you'll finish it as a successful mission. So, yeah, just pay attention to your mission objectives. But yeah, I'll repeat what I just said, really. A ton of potential, but considering that it's a board game adaptation and not particularly video gamey, and it's a lot more luck-based than your traditional strategy game, it's a lot harder to recommend Space Hulk over something like the upcoming XCOM, which we actually know is coming now, thanks to the ESRB rating that I will talk about in my next weekly update if you can tear me away from Metal Gear Solid 5. If they patched it to be, you know, to be nowhere near as fucking stuttery, then I might not have a problem with it. But just, good lord. Actually, you know what? You're basically going to be seeing the same thing over and over again. So I'm going to do you a favor and just end this video off at this point. Because you're seriously not going to see anything new over the next few minutes. But yeah, alright, I'll just save the game and then I'll... Whoa! Hey, where the fuck you going, mate? I don't even know what I did there. You can actually use, like, touchscreen controls on this UI, but they're fucking worthless. Don't even try. So we'll just go back to the menu. But yeah, I always look at Space Hulk. Too luck-based for my taste, and the port is terrible, so it's extremely hard to recommend even to those sorts of tactic games veterans who like this sort of stuff. Yeah, even for you, it's hard to recommend just because of the overall performance and shoddiness of the port. That's pretty much all I've got to say about it, really. I just can't remember for the life of me what the word was I used to describe holding down X, so we're going to go look at that at the moment, if I can tap the right thing. Also, no online multiplayer, which really fucking sucks. So... turning. Maintain X on the Terminator. What a weird usage of the English language. But yeah, anyway, this has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.